Welcome to This Explainer. Let's just jump right in, because today we're unpacking a genuinely fascinating perspective from our source material. It challenges something so many of us do every single day. We're looking at how to take daily prayer, which, let's be honest, can sometimes feel like a frustrating one-way broadcast, and transform it into a real, dynamic, two-way conversation. So whether you're coming at this from an academic angle, studying religious texts, or you're personally looking to shake up your own spiritual routine, this framework offers a literal game changer in how we think about communication, listening, and just sitting in intentional silence. The source actually hooks us right out of the gate with this really profound thought experiment. Why do you keep asking for the same thing? I mean, think about it. Imagine waking up every single day, making the exact same request over and over, and just getting more and more frustrated by the crickets. The source points out how wild it is to keep repeating these requests when, honestly, the answer might have already been given. We just didn't hear it. So it begs the question, is it that no one is answering, or are we just not listening? Which brings us to Section 1, the one-way prayer problem. Let's dive right into it. According to the text, we've kind of fundamentally misunderstood the whole assignment here. Prayer is designed to be a dynamic conversation. It's not a divine suggestion box. The source argues that God is described in these passages as a responsive father, not some passive receptacle where you just drop off your wish list, turn around and walk away. It is a totally different mental model for how to engage. But most of us fall right into what the source calls the monologue habit. We start by filling God in on all our requests, we dump our pressing problems, we hit amen, and then boom, we are out of there, rushing into our day. I mean, think about the absolute chaos of a normal morning routine. You're probably mentally running through your grocery list, you throw an earnest but totally rushed request out into the universe, and before the word amen even leaves your lips, you're grabbing your coffee and running to the car. No pause, no silence, zero expectation of getting a reply back. We basically hang up the phone without leaving even a fraction of a second to listen. Moving right along to Section 2, monologue versus conversation. So this brilliantly illustrates the central thesis of our explainer, the absolute night and day difference between merely talking to God and genuinely talking with Him. Talking to is just a one-way street. It's about saying things, delivering your speech, and then walking off stage. But talking with? Well, that requires connecting, listening, and bringing a really sincere heart into the mix. One is just broadcasting your thoughts, the other is actually building a relationship. Now, if making that shift sounds a little intimidating, the source offers a really comforting clarification here. Perfect, elegant words are absolutely not required. Sincere hearts and honesty are. You don't need to craft some eloquent, perfectly rehearsed speech that sounds like it was pulled from an antique textbook. Actually, scratch that. It's way simpler. It's just about raw honesty, bringing exactly what you're feeling right to the table. And most importantly, having the guts to just sit in that space, even if it feels a little messy or awkwardly silent at first. Okay, so let's look at the evidence in Section 3, Scriptural Blueprints for Listening. The source pulls from some ancient texts here, starting with Jeremiah 33:3. Call to me and I will answer you. Notice that promise? It's a direct answer. The source makes a super logical point about this. The text doesn't say, call to me, and then go rush off to your busy life. It literally says, I will answer you. But, right, if you never hit pause on your routine, how are you ever going to be in a position to actually hear that answer? The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that God is already speaking. The source's perspective is that the divine response isn't missing in action. The communication is actively happening. We're just, too busy talking over it. Or we've completely left the room before the answer even had a chance to arrive. To back this up, the explainer points to John 10:27, my sheep hear my voice. Notice the emphasis on the word hear there. It doesn't say my sheep only talk at me. No, it says they hear. This just proves that making the space to actively listen is a foundational, hardwired expectation of the faith, according to these texts. So, okay, how exactly are we supposed to pull this off? Well, Psalm 5:3 offers some pretty clear instructions. Pray and wait expectantly. The historical context of this verse is all about laying your requests down in the morning and then actually, literally, waiting for a reply. It's the total opposite of praying and instantly forgetting about it as you run out the door. You're setting an expectation for a response, and you are holding the line for it. And the final piece of this scriptural blueprint is from Psalm 62:8, pour out your heart before Him. This verse really grounds the idea that this whole practice is fundamentally about vulnerability. It's about letting your guard down, making room for genuine connection, and pushing way past that superficial list of daily demands. It's about getting into the real deep communication that defines, literally, any strong, lasting relationship.
And that brings us to Section 4, the Silence Challenge.
Here is where the source issues a direct, tangible challenge for you. The next time you pray, after you say amen, do not get up. Stay exactly where you are in complete silence for 30 to 60 seconds. It's a highly deliberate, intentional pause. And look, for a lot of us who are just so used to constant noise, the phone buzzing, the TV blaring in the background, just a few seconds of pure silence can feel incredibly heavy, kind of uncomfortable even. Let's try it for just 5 seconds, right now. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See how long that actually feels when you're just sitting in it? Now imagine a full 60 seconds. Now, executing this is super simple, but it is profound. Step 1, you start by praying with honesty. Again, no perfect words required. Step 2, you wrap it up and say amen. But then step 3, you hold your ground. You wait silently for those 30 to 60 seconds. And step 4, you actively listen for the response. Just following this exact simple progression forces a massive mechanical shift in your behavior. It moves you from delivering a one-way monologue into creating the actual physical and mental space for a real relationship to spark. And what happens in that silence? The source notes some pretty amazing things. First off, your mind finally hits the brakes and becomes calm. Your heart aligns. And then the response you've been searching for starts to actually come through. Now, to be clear, this doesn't usually mean some booming cinematic voice from the ceiling. Instead, the response might drop in as a really gentle, sudden thought, or maybe a remembered verse, or sometimes it just comes as this unexplainable, deeply felt peace that kind of washes over you. The point is, you just have to be quiet enough to notice it. Bringing this whole concept together, the source shares this final, incredibly powerful text from Revelation 3:20. Here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in. I mean, what a vivid picture, right? It describes a creator who has been speaking and actively knocking this entire time. The perspective here is that the presence is already right there on the other side of the door, just waiting patiently for the noise of our own nonstop monologues to finally quiet down. Which wraps up our analysis for today. We're going to leave you with this final, truly provocative thought from the explainer. He is already knocking, but are you quiet enough to hear it? It's a massive question to ask yourself the next time you finish your morning routine and you feel that urge to just say amen, jump up and walk away. Try taking those 30 seconds. See what happens when you finally stop talking and start listening.